Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Jazzy, the video store Sasquatch here, and we are doing another horror movie night in the cave. I kind of went old school here, kind of had a little fun with it. Kind of reminded me of going back to Blockbuster back in the day and picking out a couple movies to just watch. So I did that, and I made sure they were all 1980s movies. They're all horror movies here. They're ones I haven't seen yet, and two of them I think you could classify as a slasher. The one maybe not, but we'll kind of discuss that as we go on. Um, So yeah, we're gonna take a time trip. We're gonna go back to 1980 something here, with the first movie here, The Outing, directed by Tom Daly, starring Deborah Winters, James Houston, and Andra Saint Avini. A group of high schoolers decide to stay in a natural museum after closing hours, but a newly acquired and mysterious lamp hiding a deadly force will turn the fun into horror. See, I'm glad that the lamp is brought into this as a mysterious lamp hiding a deadly force because the movie on Shudder is called The Lamp, but when you look it up, it's called The Outing. I got to make sure twice it was the same movie, but they are the same movie. So yeah, the cool thing, the best part about going back to these three movies are the practical effects against the computer effects. Because today is a lot, everything is computer effects or computer effects with the practical effects. This was just straight up practical, real life, like cool monster making effects. The genie here is like oozy, green, like slimy looking, ugly motherfucking thing. And that like is so awesome that they had something like that for this, and it's like real. It's not fake. So they made something. They put all the slime all over it, and then just decided this is the guy. This is the most scariest thing that we can think of, and this is what we're gonna do. And that's what they did here. I give them way more props than they deserve because I don't even think that a lot of people would even be prepared to do something like that today, and they did it and they set it off. They got the lighting right, they got the shades, they got the strobe lights going, whatever magic they had to make it like look as menacing as possible, and they did a very good job of it. Especially for 1980, okay, so very good job of it for like 1980 something. Like I'm not saying that like it would hold up today, but I'm saying that for 1980 something, very good job. This is not a terrible movie to be honest with you. This is a little slow burn for a 1980 movie. I figured we'd get a little more deaths, and like I'll just put it out there. There's like this weird like forest sex scene. Probably if that kind of stuff triggers you, I probably wouldn't watch this movie because it is in this movie. The weird thing about it is I think it's in like all three of the movies I watched, which I was like, wow, goddamn, 1980 something. Like they fucking just were letting the dudes do whatever they wanted to do to these chicks. And it kind of plays off to what I've said before when we were talking about horror movies, where it's like, well, you're either watching a porn or you're watching a horror movie, and like sometimes there's not much in between of the mixture here, and that's a lot of this movie too as well. So moms and dads and whatever, if your son or daughter all of a sudden decides that they are a horror movie fan, they're watching a bunch of like 1980s and 1990s horror movies, and you guys just haven't caught on yet. They are probably watching it. They're probably partly watching it because there's boobies a lot. There's a lot of boobies in the 1980 movies. Something that I think I picked up early on. I'm sure that kids picked up early on, but that doesn't deter us from watching these old movies. So yeah, I'm just saying. This is a fact of life here. So yeah, so this movie wasn't great. So I gave it a C minus. I don't think it'd hold up today. I think that if at all, I think that those are the three. This would be the worst of the movies, to be honest with you. But I give the practical effects and everything, and the way they did it, and the way they made that thing look menacing. I give it as much credit as possible. I give the monster an A. Just the rest of the movie is kind of boring and bland, and a very slow burn for a 1980s movie. Like if you watch these 1980s slasher movies, they're not very slow burn because they're only like an hour and 20 minutes. This movie's only like an hour and a half long, but at the same time, it was like an hour and a half. Like it was like an hour of nothing, and then a half hour of what was going on. So that is my one complaint about this one. And that movie was The Outing, directed by Tom Daly. So since we started with the worst one, we'll go ahead and go with the middle one here, and that is The Undertaker, directed by Frank Avianca and Steve Bono, starring Joe Spinell, Rebecca Veron, Patrick Askin, and Susan Bocci. A deranged Undertaker kills various people to keep his friends in his seedy funeral home. This movie was good, and it had a good story kind of behind it. It's kind of the worst rated of the two, but of the three, two on IMDb. But it's kind of like the best. I like the story of the next one that we're going to talk about, but it's definitely the second best story, and it's a very solid story. It's like something that could hold up today for like creepiness. Like an Undertaker decides that he's going to kill people and keep them as his like little like cremated things under his little workshop there. There's like four or five he ends up with. The uncle or the nephew, who is the uncle staying there, tries to warn people. And as he's warning people, the uncle pretty much takes him off, which the uncle's Undertaker. Very good movie. This one is definitely like the fucking borderline between like, okay, I think that this might have been a softcore porn and a horror movie, to be honest with you, because I mean there is just a lot of fucking sex in this movie, and like a lot of like a lot of what is it B what is it dominant submissive sex, like a lot of fucking of that shit just going everywhere, craziness like leather, like spank, like tied up, all that crazy like stuff that you'd see. So this one, like it goes back way back to where I said like sometimes they're borderline horror porn. This was definitely borderline horror porn, and this might as well have just been horror porn, to be honest with you. But it had a good storyline, and it was effective with like, because like the dude that like with the dude that we're gonna see, this Undertaker, like he has to have some like kind of like weird kink, you know what I mean, to kind of like bring into why he's making these people like frozen, so that are reincarnated, or not reincarnated, but like puppets, or what do they call it, taxidermy. He's taxiderming these bodies, so whatever they are, they're cadavers or whatever you want to call them. And then he's like hanging them and leaving them there, and he's like talking with them throughout the movie. Like this one, like really, really could be like remade and probably like take out like two or three of the sex scenes and like put a little bit more story in this instead of those sex scenes. Because like today, maybe two of them. So like I say, there's like four sex scenes. Take out two of them, or take out three of them, and just have the one. Because today, it doesn't play as well as it did back in the day. It's not like a fucking trope like it was in the '80s, so we don't need it as much. But I mean, this movie was violent. This movie had the practical effect kills, of course, because it's 1980 something, and on top of that, it had like a believability to it. Like, hey, this might be like just like a fucking snuff movie or whatever when you're watching it, because there's just some crazy wild stuff that happens throughout it, in the dungeons and stuff like this. And this guy is like maniacal, I'm telling you. And he just looks like an ordinary like Undertaker dude, like kind of big, like old Italian, old school Undertaker dude. Oh, not like Undertaker like WWE, but like Undertaker like mortuary like guy. Like, he has the mustache, like, kind of like Paul Bearer, the Paul Bearer of everything. If you know what I'm talking about, is what I've been talking about. I'm talking about him. That's exactly what he looks like. And then like he tries to be friendly, and he's like friendly to everybody. And then like as soon as he's ready to go after you, he's just boom, bam, got you, you're dead. This one, I give a B minus overall. Like I said, it was the second best of the three movies I watched from the 1980s, and this was The Undertaker, directed by Frank Avianca and Steve Bono. And just so you know, all three of these movies were on Shudder. Comment below if you've seen any of them. Like and subscribe, whatever. Do what you gotta do. But the third one here is probably the best of the three for sure. It is Intruder, directed by Scott Spiegel, starring Liz Kern, Renee Estevez, Dan Hicks, David Burns. The overnight stock crew of a local supermarket find themselves being stalked and slashed by a mysterious maniac. The movie is very good. Like I said, solid story, probably the best story of the three. Even when you get to the final finale of where we see who the killer is, we were like very believable. Another one of these movies, a lot of sex in it, especially for a store. Like all these employees are just finding little corners of the store to like fuck in. It's kind of crazy, but it's just what it is at this point in time for horror movies in the 1980 something era. You know what I mean? And they're all blonde, they're all big titted, and they all it's all the same thing. And then they die. It's a good movie. Sam Raimi is actually in this. Sam Raimi is, the horror legend, including his father, I believe, is in this too. I'm not sure though, but I know for sure Sam Raimi is in it. And then, if you really watch the end of the movie, and you kind of catch it, the police officer is Bruce Campbell, and we all know who Bruce Campbell is, a legend in the field. and he's kind of arresting him. He's being a dickhead cop. It's kind of awesome if you just know who he is, and even kind of spot it because it took me a second to spot it. And then when I realized who it was, I was like, "Holy shit!" And it kind of makes sense because Sam Raimi's involved with this movie. So of course we get the guy that like Sam Raimi and them are like the best of friends. I think 1989 would have been way after Evil Dead. I'm pretty sure. I'm not exactly positive though. Maybe not way after, but soon after. So I'm pretty sure Evil Dead's been out by now. Not positive though. I don't really know the timeline of Evil Dead. I'm not a huge Evil Dead guy, but I know who, of course, is involved with it, and that's why I bring it up. But this movie, the guy, um, the so we're in the supermarket pretty much the whole time. We get the overnight crew, like they said, and we're finding out that the store is being closed and going to be bought by the city to be ran. And the owners, of course, one isn't happy and one is happy, and then so that's kind of where we are there. I give this movie a B overall. Like I said, best story, best kills too. There's a lot of cool kills in this movie. A lot of interesting stuff in this movie too, with the story. Keeps you kind of going, and like I said, you kind of see a young Sam Raimi and this young Bruce Campbell. I'm pretty sure there's a couple people I missed to even bring up that were young in this movie. I believe this is 1989 too, so that's what I'm saying. I don't think this was early 1980s. I think this was 1989. So it might not even been a young Bruce Campbell. It might have been like a very famous Bruce Campbell, just doing a little minor part for these people that he kind of decided to be in. Not really sure if, but I should probably look into that more. But yes, definitely go check this one out. Oh, go check out all three of these movies. To be honest with you, they're all 1980 something. They're all classic kind of slasher killer types. The one more of like a monster slasher killer with the genie and stuff like this, with the two names too as well. I call it the Outing. Prime's gonna call it the Lamp, but this one was that we're talking about last was Intruder, directed by Scott Spiegel. Check them all out: The Undertaker, Intruder, and The Lamp slash The Outing, whichever one you want to look it up under. It is on Prime, Shudder. Um, that was our week for this week for horror movie night reviews. Thank you guys very much for watching, and please have a good rest of your day or night. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment your top movie picks for Throwback Thursday in the comments section. And see you next time in the cave.